So once that first video is uploaded, so I've made it clear. So you can't say that I haven't made it perfectly clear to all these people that they don't have the facts. I've made it more than clear in the last 9 years. But they want to go off with their disability scare me. See, the problem is here, and here's the facts. Oh God, let me move this. The light keeps reflecting on the camera. Actually, that's better there. So where the government-funded money goes, and I know this from even after I was mugged after work, it seems to go to just one particular organisation of disability. Now, if you're somebody that has physical health disabilities or chronic illness, which I end up getting, you don't get it. You don't get anything. It's the way things are with this percentage system. So I know more than enough of how it works. So I'll give you a great rundown. I was mugged and robbed November 30th, 2007 on way home from work. Now, there was no trauma attached to it. Yeah, I was mugged. Yep. And you'll see this because I always go into Star Casino and have a coffee. So there was some bullshit stories made up where they were saying, you must have trauma to it. I said, why would I have trauma to the casino? And then it was like, oh, you have trauma to the, this is what, actually my mother started this. Straight away she said, oh, you'll be scared to live in the city now. So she's trying to force me to move to where she lives, where she moved from Sydney. So I've tried to explain to my solicitors and even my medical legal team that if you don't put a restraining order on my mother, this is what's causing the trouble. So I've been asked, so what has caused the trouble in the years? Like with the recovery, I said, so as soon as I was mugged, let me tell you exactly what happened. When I was mugged November 30th, 2007, I was with my partner back then, John Cabino. John. So not Giovanni. And this is where I don't understand why Giovanni's being listened to. And I really don't, in some aspects, because it's like, well, I didn't meet him. The first major recovery I had was the first year, before I'd ever met Giovanni. So the first year. So, basically, I'm trying to think of a guy that actually looked after it straight away. So, couldn't go back into, I was told you can't go back into work because, so I've been mugged. It was a Glasgow Coma Skull 13. So, I woke up in St. Vincent's and my partner John's there. His brother Michael, God rest him, his mother, Carmel, she was there, and was discharged the same day. Although Malcolm Bowman said that he didn't want me discharged the same day, wanted me under to check to see if there's any major damage. Even though the CT scans showed no abnormality to the brain, so there was no brain damage. He said it was still, a massive big hit. You got damage to your left eye, which my eye was stitched up, as you can see. See, when you actually look at some parts of it, you see, there you go. You see just here, right down, there's a straight line. Can you see that? That's where the damage was. So sometimes you'll see it in my face, the item I'm getting, you can see the scars here where I was stitched, but the damage that's under the skin is right down here. You can see where the camera hits it just here. It's right down there. All right. So that's what the damage was. So it's not mentally retarded, which I find this to be extremely discrimination. I'm telling you now, I find it to be really pissing me off. These people are pissing me off in 9 years because it is discrimination and it's defamation. And they're doing it deliberately. So, you get to a point where it's like, mate, this is the approach towards me is really condescending. It is really like I'm having to bite my teeth and go, you do know that this is extremely disrespectful towards me after what I've gone through. Yeah, this is extremely disrespectful. So that's what it was. So I was like, okay. So came home and I was still drifting in and out of consciousness. Was asleep, then Carol turned up, my fucking mother, I can't stand it, and Carol turned up with Nan. Apparently Nan said, as soon as she found out, she said, Carol, drive me to Justin's. Anyway, John Cabino will tell you, my mother, she's not a nice person, she's a deadbeat. My mother's a deadbeat. Anyone who knows my mother and gives her time of day, don't come near me. If you think she's a nice person, don't come near me because you're a bad judge of character. I'm being serious now. I'm not joking around saying, oh, my mother said I was spoiled and things like this, like joking around. No, I'm being serious. If you think my mother's a nice person, don't come near me. Then you're a bad judge of character. She's not a nice person. She's disgusting. She is disgusting. So if you want to ask me a straightforward question, I'll give you a straightforward answer. You say, oh, what do you think of your mother? I'll tell you exactly what people who know her should be thinking of her. You know, so yeah, she's a disgusting person. She should be locked up in jail back in the 90s, but police can't do their job. I mean, I can joke around all you want. Look, I've said nice things about her neighbours and so forth because they're nice, but she's not. She should have been locked up in jail in the 90s. Leave that aside, that's not here or there, but just if she comes near me, I'll kill her. No, police can't put her in jail, then if she comes anywhere near me, I'll fucking kill her. Simple. Don't you dare put me in the same room as her. Don't you dare. So, she showed up in Surrey Hills, and she goes, so I'm resting and so forth, recovering. She goes, oh, come on, I want to see, oh, come on, I want to see Margaret Britt play. She's a fucking spoiled bitch. And then said, no, Carol, I'm staying here waiting for Justin to wake up. And Carol turned around and said, oh, he won't remember anyway. That's what she said. John Cabino, like anyone, you ask my ex-boyfriends, they'll tell you how disgusted they are with my mother. Ask John Cabino. Because John Cabino is neutral to what's been going on in the last 9 years. So then ask him, ask John. John will tell you what she's like. Ask her. Go and ask John Cabino. Ask John. Because we're not close. We're not talking. We haven't spoken since I left him in 2008. He's neutral to the last 9 years, and he could just tell you what he's seen Carol do. So that's what happened. She did say she's a fucking lowlife. And you've got all these people that suck up Carol's ass. It's like, mate, I want to grab hold of you, knock you to your fucking ass, and kick your fucking teeth in. Because you are a bad judge of character if you think she's a nice person. You're a bad judge of fucking character, so don't come up to me. Don't you dare come up to me. So, that's what Mum said to my nan Lola. And my nan's like, no, Carol. No, nan hates freaking Margaret Britt. So do I. We used to have to go and see Margaret Britt to put up with Carol. And this is what my mum's younger sister, Mary Ann, used to say. Oh, look, can you make sure your mother doesn't get upset? Do whatever she wants when she's down visiting. It's like, I can't believe we have to put up with this crap. We literally had to do whatever she wants and put us away. Which meant put up with... off the camera. Sorry. Went off the side of the camera there. So we literally had to do, so it was like, oh, we have to see Margaret Britt because that's what Carol wants to do. So we've been told to keep Carol happy so she doesn't upset Nan. So anything Carol tells people is like, oh, we used to enjoy this. Oh, we used to have so much fun. No one has ever had fun with Carol. No one. Probably Amanda now because Amanda's so much like Carol. But no one has fun with Carol. We were told to make sure Carol gets what she wants and not upset her, because if you upset Carol, she'll take it out on Nan. That's the truth. You know, you ask other boyfriends of mine, and we're told, oh, Carol's going to be in Sydney. Make sure she doesn't get upset, otherwise she'll take it out on Nan. So we have to do everything and walk on eggshells. Sorry, the noise from the window was travelling into the microphone. We have to do whatever she wants to, so she wouldn't upset Nan. So we didn't want to see her. We didn't want to go and see Margaret Britt play. We had no choice. We can't stand Margaret Britt. She's one of those people that suck up Carol's ass and can't. She's look at Margaret Britt and go, oh God, you must be the same character as Carol if you like her. Because anyone decent wouldn't like Carol. And that's, yeah. So basically, that's what happened. So anyway, straight away. So that's the mugging. And then it was physical health injuries. So basically it was like, okay, let's look at this. There was no cognitive injuries at first because there was no stress until everyone started trying to scam from it, for my misfortune event. There was no stress. It was just like, okay, so my employer said, look, because of the nature of the injury, we're not accepting you back yet for work. Until we have determined that, it's a full recovery. Well, there'll never be a full recovery, which I think that was ridiculous to even make those comments. You can't fully recover from an injury. You can maintain an injury. And so I really didn't get good legal representation. So basically, I was like, okay, so it wasn't me that said, so straight away my employer was like, they started the process. I didn't start the process. So Star started the process. So I was like, okay, well, then what do? I was like, well, I might as well go back to my studies. I'd studied in the 90s, art and design. I'll go back to TAFE College while I'm waiting. So I did. I went back to TAFE College in 2009. So everything I have stated is the truth. So then going through the recovery process, what were you recovering from? Well, when I first got mugged, because the hit here, I had horrible vision that was caused from extreme migraines. So the extreme migraines would prevent me being in an environment where there was a lot of flickers of light or noise and so forth, they were saying. So, oh, by the way, there was none of this. So, in the last 9 years, I heard that apparently I was afraid to go back to Star Casino to work. No, I never said that. I was told that I can't go in there while I'm under workers' comp. So I don't know who was spreading the information, because my solicitor said, no, you can't go. Because I said, oh, can I go in there and see and I said, no, it's unethical because of, what happened, being mugged. You say you can't go to your... So I was told I couldn't go into my employment. So now that it's over now, I go into my employment all the time. So that's the thing. If people have asked me, no one asked me. Anyway, so it was the migraines were severe. Oh, look, the migraines are still severe, which is why I'm trialing the injections to try and stop it. There'll be weeks where I'm like, I can't talk. It's right down in my jawline. But I don't feel that should have, once I recovered from everything, like the 10-year part salary payment, the recovery, that under disability, they should have worked in what they were supposed to in 2017 to negotiate my job back. That's what I kept saying this. I kept saying that's what they should have done, because this is what the process was until all these leftist disability organisations started getting involved. And I kept saying, but these organisations are getting involved to keep me on their books to make money. The more people on their books, the more they make money. They're the ones stopping me going back to my job. But they literally were stopping me going back to my job, and I'm like going, but this is ridiculous. Right. So Carol was the one who started, hang on, Bax, saying things like, oh, and look, by the way, the way I look right now, the way I sound, everything, completely not me as a person. It's just what I've been turned into, which Carol would love. Yeah, that's not who I am. And I'm sick of this. Oh yeah, Carol would love it. Yeah, it's destroying my life. It's another version of abuse. So anyway, so basically, Carol was like, oh, would you be scared to be here? It's like, no, I lived most of my life in the city. So, living in the cities where I can't stand living outside the city. I hate nature. Look, where I live now, there's too many trees and too much grass. Even my dog hates it. I didn't live in Tamworth. I wasn't brought up in Tamworth. I did live there for 6 years, but I didn't spend much time there. I don't know why people keep thinking this shit about Tamworth, but well done, because if I meet one more fuckwit from Tamworth when you're England, I'll shoulder barge the cunt and kick their ribs in. But I'm telling you, police would call it so many times and said, getting harassed by dickheads to do with where my mother lives. Am I getting harassed to do with people from where Dad lives at Empire Bay? No, this is all to do with my mother. So if one more little country town prick thinks they're entitled and you're not going to press charges, then I'll friggin' take it into my own hands. Because you're letting them break the law, so you can let me break the law. That's how it works. It's tit for tat. If you're going to let them break the law, then you let me break the law. It's tit for tat. Otherwise, you stop them breaking the law like they've been doing for 9 years. So, I'm not, anything to do with where my mother is, all those types of people, seriously. Like, I'm born in the suburbs of Sydney. I've said this so many times. You've got these organisations that think, that my nan's from the country. Yeah, Nan was born in Wellington, sure, but her family's from the city, and Nan moved into Leichhardt when she was about 6 years of age. So the house that my nan grew up in Leichhardt was owned by her uncle, my great-uncle Fred Leo Patrick Sayer, who I grew up with. They're from Leichhardt. Reg, my grandfather's from Balmain. They're all from the city. Well, they're not from the country. No one heard of fucking Tamworth before my mother's second husband brought it up in 1989. This is exactly what happened. He was in Colo River, and he wanted to, so he read an article about Tamworth in the paper. He wanted to go there for a weekend, so they went there for a weekend holiday, and that weekend holiday, it's like they were just travelling, Mum brought a house there. She brought, hang on, that echo's coming through. Mum brought a house there, Oops. Yeah. So mum brought a house there, and then she had to she sold it in Sydney and then moved. But she moved there. I'm sick of this shit. Like I said, I'll take on every disability organisation that there is until I get my money, my assets and belongings back, my credibility restored. Like Giovanni Consalvo was even told himself. So Giovanni Consalvo is the boyfriend that I met. So the first time I met him was in August 2008. He's not a carer. Never was a carer. I'm not going to put up with this. He committed fraud. Put the guy in jail. I'm not going to back down. He thinks he can destroy my life with this fraud and forgery, and he didn't tell the truth. He could have prevented all this from happening. Including telling George Jacobs, this fucking loser, the truth. Seriously, I'm so sick of entitled people like George Jacobs. Thank God for Palestine. Oh, look. No, I can't do this without it. George Jacobs is a fucking entitled prick. This is where I look at it and go, yeah, thank God for Palestine. Thank God for fucking Palestine. Because those people deserve exactly what they get. So, he was told, but he didn't want to correct it. I told, I was sitting with George Jacobs once, and I said, I used to ride my horse around Moore Park Road. He didn't believe me. This is what it was continuously like. It's like, he didn't believe me. So, because he thought I was from some farming country area. I'm like, no. Every time I saw this guy, it's like, I've already told you this. So he'd bring up stuff, and I'm like, this is why my workers' comp needs to be reopened. I'm like, okay, well, you've already been told this. I only went to high school there. This is where I'm from. You were told this. He never listened to this George Jacobs. He never listened to me ever. And it got to the point where it's like, this is ridiculous. So I did. So when the Nationals and Royals were on, I used to ride my horse around the park. There. I did. All the way down to the Bat and Ball Hotel, cross like that. The way the way that all that area is now with a highway and so forth wasn't like that back then in the 90s. And so I used to ride my horse all the way down Moore Park Road. I used to exit the park up near where Paddington is, and then ride my horse down Moore Park Road, right down to the Bat and Ball on Cleveland Street, then cut across and then come back in the park. And my mother would be like, oh, you're not exiting the park, are you? I'm like, oh no. So I was. I put my headphones on and be riding my horse right down to Surrey Hills. I told George Jacobs this, he didn't believe me. It's like, no, that's up to you. You're an idiot. I sit back now and watch what's going on overseas. I'm like, well, thank God for Palestine, because look at people like George Jacobs. They deserve what they get. Like, you look at those types of people and it's like, yeah, mate, you deserve what you get. Your people deserve exactly what they get. Especially when they're such lying, they're just entitled. You've got to look at it this way. An entire world. So we're not talking about one country here. If we go back 100 years, if we go back through since time began, it's been one group of people that have been continuously trouble-making people in the world. So they're not bullied or attacked. It's the one group of people, like which George Jacobs belongs to, that have been, they go persecuted. It's like, persecuted? You guys are little assholes. Oh, persecuted by Roman Catholics. It's like, you're fucking little assholes. Persecuted by this, persecuted by Islam, persecuted by that. It's like, no, you aren't. If an entire world 100 years ago can turn on you people and say, we've had a gutful of your behaviour, we've had a gutful of you in the way you bankrupt the world, then you've got to look at it this way and say, well, you're the common denominator. You group of people are the common denominator. So, and then I look at what's just gone on even with my life and like that George Jacobs, like, well, yeah, didn't you guys really deserve what you got? So you can't look at it any other way and say, you're a group of people that comes to other people's countries. Oh, they do it in Australia. Oh my God. So you got to look at the way Palestine's reacting, and it's like, hang on, but they do it to Australia. They come to Australia. This is Australia. And they come here and it's like, oh, it's their country. The way that they're entitled assholes of people, Jews, and the way that they come to Australia and suddenly they treat it like they own it. It's like, go, get out, get the fuck out. Thank God for Palestine, because someone's got to put you people in your place. Someone really has to. I mean, we already had 100 years ago. Maybe we need that repeat again. You're looking at the world at the moment, and you see, I know this is getting off the subject here, but you can see that it's coming back around again, where everyone's like, no, I'm sorry, but we've done this again. We've let our guards down to Jews, and we've had a gutful. because they come to everybody's country and this is what they do. Look at Sydney. Look at Sydney. Now, you can't tell me. Look what they've done to Sydney. They just come in here and the way that they treat us, like, excuse me, like even in Bellevue Hill, it's like, okay, my great uncle's from Bellevue Hill. Like if I want to be a smart ass and say, well, I've got Indigenous heritage to the area. My nan's uncle, Leo Patrick Sayer, was from Bellevue Hill. So was his, so was his auntie, which is Annie Williams, and his cousin, so Tommy Williams, and what is Tommy Williams doing? His cousin? And then Gary Williams, which is my nan's cousin. They're all from the area. I mean, I'm not, but my nan's family was. So I'm like, well, they're Indigenous to the area. I think Gary Williams lived his life out in Bondi. So I'll be smart and go, well, we're Indigenous to the area, so you want to come and take over. So it's like, oh, so you do what the Palestine said, because you do it in Sydney. You come in, you take over, you do exactly what Palestine tells people that you are doing, and the world's turning around going, oh, we have a gut full of you people. I want to see a Second World War repeat and bring it to Australia. Well, that's the problem. They all came here to flee. It's like, oh, mate, what we should have done was close our borders to Jews. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. So here's one person that got involved in my workers' comp. And it's like, no, I'm sick of this. I've told this guy so many times the truth. And it's like, well, physical health injuries. Recovering from that, the damage to my knee and my back. Like, I get severe numbness and a sharp pain down my right side. So that's what they were saying. Well, how can you stand up all day, if you've got this? And that's why I kept saying to my employers, like, but can't we, like, I didn't really stand up all day in one spot anyway, because, it'd be covering breaks in Star Lounge. Like, okay, fair enough. I'm standing up for, say, 4 hours maybe at Lagoon Host Desk. And this is where I kept trying to get to people to listen to me. It's like, oh my God, but you're not listening because you're fine. You're looking at this going, oh, well, you can't stand up and do this all day. It's like, but it wasn't. They used to say every half an hour, take a break just for a minute. So the Lagoon Host Desk, out the back in the Lagoon Host Desk, so it's all different now. This is not how it is now. But when I worked for Star Casino, the Lagoon Host Desk, you had that's where there was offices all behind it, your office. You could do your data entry behind the desk. You had your pigeonhole. They had tea and coffee facilities. There was a little mini fridge, had cheese and crackers, and you were encouraged to walk away from the computer screen because you'll be there continuously typing. So you'll be standing at the Lagoon Host Desk continuously typing. That's right. So this is where I've explained my job to my mother all the time. She doesn't get it. So you'll be there and you wouldn't have a break. They would encourage you to walk away from the computer, go at the back and make a coffee. Okay, I used to actually bring up for my coffee down at Lobby Lounge. Yeah, I used to order coffee every half an hour from the Lobby Lounge. So they encouraged that. Okay, and so I'm there saying, well, you weren't actually standing up in one spot. So say you come in to work and it's like, all right, I'm on Lagoon Host Desk from 2 in the afternoon to 6 in the evening. Okay, then 6 in the evening is a busy night, like it'd be the draw time. So this is exactly how my roster would look. I've even got it. So my roster, so it'd be like, okay, Lagoon Host Desk from 2 in the afternoon to 6 in the evening. 6 in the evening, you've got the draw times. So we're going to put you, okay, you're going to have all the VIP members and we're going to put you into the Star Lounge or Oasis Lounge from 6 to 10, okay, to when the draw's finished. I'm telling you, this is exactly how my work was. Okay, so I was like, all right, so then I'll be checking people into the Star Lounge from 6 to 10, okay? So I've done that in 6 to 10. Then it's like, all right, for the last, 2 hours of a shift, do you want to, cover people's breaks, so their half-hour breaks in the Endeavour Room reception, or you want to walk through the pits, so if it's a busy night, I'd be like, I'm walking through the pits. It'd be like a busy Saturday night, if I want to do, 10, like I said, I'm working 10 to 12, whatever, or mainly I used to finish at 2 in the morning. So I'll be doing the 4 p.m. start. And it's like, okay, I'll be walking through the pits late at night, like when it's really busy for the casino in the busy period of time for all the, the pits and so forth, and checking all memberships and so forth, and everyone's making sure that everything's working smoothly. And I enjoy that. So that's how the roster works. So it wasn't, you're not in this one spot all the time. And that was the thing. Let me finish making my coffee. So I kept bringing it up after I was recovering. I'm like, okay, but it's physical health injuries I'm recovering from here. It's damage to my left eye. I said, once I can sort of fix or maintain this, the damage to my left eye, and the migraines, and then the damage to my right side of the body. Fine, we could, and it was a return to work thing. So I never had a carer and all this other rubbish that was going on. I'm not mentally retarded. Mind you, you've got police, which is so stupid. Since the shit in 2015, they're just fucking idiots. Which is why I played a prank on the dickheads in IGA in 2016. Everyone deserved it. No one wanted to listen to me. Nope. No one wanted to listen to me, so they basically deserved the prank that was played. So, like I keep saying, not mentally retarded. It's not mentally retarded. And then, because they didn't get what they want. These organisations didn't get what they want. Alright? You see them here with the friggin' wankers downstairs where I live. You see friggin' Sandy bloody Mukowski with the fucking dickheads in the building next door to me where I live. Fucking assholes. They lie about one thing and then they want to lie about, for example, it's like, no, it's not mentally retarded. So then you're going to lie and say something else. It's like, okay, so either way, you're going to keep lying and slandering me because you're a fucking wanker. I have to walk past and say hi to people, but I can't stand it. So not mentally retarded, it's physical health, injuries and chronic illness. Yeah, but it's all maintainable, but you've just cost me in the last 9 years because you people didn't stop. You cost me my assets, my belongings, my savings, my living home environment for 9 years. All right? You did. So then they've gone, he's always angry and doesn't socialise and this shit. It's like, well, I'm not socialising to get my money, assets, belongings and car back, thanks. Because I worked hard for that. So then you've got idiots going, making up stories about how I came into all of this. It's like, how I came into this. I had a good job at Star Casino. I was on $47,730 a year as a salary package, and I worked 2 side jobs. Now, I don't really care when people want to be bitchy and make up stories about me until those stories start affecting what I worked hard for. Then I'll start caring. So I already had my money, my assets and belongings. This is stuff that I already had. I mean, I did sell my investment property in 2008. That's right, I did. But that money sat in the bank. I didn't touch the money I made from my investment property, which was 16 Scott Road, Tamworth. I didn't touch it. It sat in the bank. So here we are. I can't stand these fucking assholes where I live. Because if you knew me, you'd be like, someone made up a story, must be Giovanni. He needs to be in a community with support network. He's been doing this for years. I swear he must project his Mormon. Like he must, because he's got a Mormon, a Latter-day Saints Mormon and Jehovah's Witness upbringing, and they are weird people with this whole community religious stuff. So, it's like, where do people get the information from? It's like, I never said this. This is really weird. So, for me, I can't stand. I have a sleep app that actually plays city noises. It's actually a sleep app to help sleep, and it plays city noises and cars and so forth because that's the only way I can sleep. I can't sleep in a quiet environment. I can't sleep in nature because I've lived most of my life in the city. So I can only sleep with city noises. So I have to play sleep. I've been doing this for years. Oh, God, I hated Connecticut. When I was in Connecticut, so I could feel like I was in Sydney, I used to put the sleep app in the window so it would make me feel that the city noises were outside the window and then I could sleep. It's the only way I could sleep. I can't sleep otherwise unless I'm in the city. And you'll see this, as soon as I go to New York City, my body just relaxes. So I can't do it. I've lived most of my life in the city. I don't do I hate nature. I hate communities. Where I live. The city is not meant to be a community. I don't push for this shit that these wankers, you've got British people. I was online talking to some fucking British cunts. Here's the thing. You've got these wankers from the UK, and then you can't call them anything else but wankers because they come to other people's country. If you are going to just project what your country does in another person's country, then you're a fucking wanker. America won't accept it, which I like. Can you see Republicans? Get fucked. Get back to your own country. We behave different. You've gone to a different country, so everything's different. UK wankers don't accept that. So here's the thing. They want the little clans and the little groups and the little, communities. Because that's what they do, because they're a very, very, very tiny little speck of a country. They're tiny. You've got to explain to these people that England fits in New South Wales about 3.5 times. So you've got a very, very tiny, tiny, tiny country. Okay? The way your country works doesn't work for Australia. It doesn't work for America. It works for your country and your country solely. Don't project your issues and your country stuff into other people's countries. This is not your country. Australia is a different country. So you've got all this movement at the moment where people try to create communities and so forth. It's like, oh no, I'd rather, sorry, that's not comfortable for me. What comfortable for me is New York City, where there is no communities. It's high density apartment living. So, I mean, you're not living around junkie. Here, high density apartment living is like living around junkies. You don't have that in New York. Seriously. So, but yeah, city living is where I've always lived. I don't do quiet. I don't do communities. But besides the point, and I'm going to leave it here because it's gone to the time that I wanted to finish it. Besides the point, what has my life got to do with all these people interfering, costing me money in the last 9 years? I'm not mentally retarded. Simple. I have a disability that you're not allowed to know about. It's nothing to do with you, but I'm not mentally retarded and I don't need your assistance. So don't come into my life. It is that simple. So then the laws that were broken, that's better. Then the laws that were broken, well, I'm entitled to be compensated for that. All right, that's just the way it is. Leave it there because that is now the half an hour. So that's my morning or lunchtime post. But I'll say this: they daily basis they make fools. Keep going. So we're on a daily basis. We're up to 9 years, almost 10 years now, and we're talking about my savings, assets, belongings. I'm calling this duress. I'm calling this. Hang on. There was what did Google say it was? With the way that this is, the duress I've been put under, the pain and suffering it's caused me. Oh Christ! It all started because a little bitchy wankers or freaking gay guys made up stories about me in 2015. I'm there going, yeah, but it's not true. God, I would never be suicidal. You turn around and tell people long enough that something's not true and they don't listen. It's like you get to a point where I'm like, you damaged my life, you can pay for it. Because you can't, there's not one person in my neighbourhood who hasn't been told by me that, yeah, whatever information you have isn't true. You don't get to be entitled to find out what my disability is, but it's not mentally retarded. My clothing, you don't get to pry into my life and find out, oh, where's his money come from, or assets, belongings, and clothing, and so forth. No, because majority I've had a very long time. You don't get to break these confidentiality, privacy, and prying laws. And every time you do, and I call the police all the time, and I'm being a smart ass to anyone I see. Because, no, your job is to stop the fucking behaviour towards me that's causing duress. Your job is to stop these people. I mean, we're talking about a lot of money now it's cost me, assets and belongings. You can put Giovanni in jail for pretending he was a carer and forging my signature. There's a start.